So myIDGI stands for My Individual Growth and Development Indicators, and it is an early literacy assessment that we use in all of our pre-K classrooms district-wide. So we assess in 4 areas for early literacy. We assess in oral language, alphabet knowledge, comprehension, and phonological awareness through a series of subtests. And generally what that looks like for the students are fun games, activities that intertwine with the teacher. The teacher does it one-on-one with each student, so they really get to know their students. We use it as a benchmark assessment, so we're monitoring growth throughout the year. We do it in the fall, winter, and spring. So in the fall, we're really gauging what the students are coming in and what their understanding is in these areas. And then in winter and spring, we're measuring the amount of growth they've had with being in our program. And the hopes would be that by the end of the year, we're seeing enough growth that the students are showing more readiness for kindergarten.
Watch a quick video about the letter N, and then you're good at that. You guys are gonna give me some work.
I think that it allows teachers to see where students are, so we can clearly see like the students had no idea what sound idea was at the beginning of the year. Most of my class knew no letter sounds coming in, which is okay, therefore they're not going to know them. And I was able to assess that and see that. And then by actually December, January, when I assessed them again, almost every single child knew 16 or more letter sounds. So we're able to see that growth because we can see, hey, they know nothing. And then we can do games or do lessons. And then by a certain point, we're like, hey, they know a lot of things.
A, say, your turn. A, say.
With Sound ID, we've seen a decrease in the Tier 2, Tier 3 groups of students. We've also saw an increase in our Tier 1, so that has been a positive. But using the myIDGIs test, it allows teachers and coaches to look at the data and see where we need to modify plans that are being implemented in the classroom that we use from our tri-annual data days.
Ring.
Once we gather all of that data, we look at what our kids really need help with. And especially in my class, I noticed that rhyming was one of the things that we needed to focus in on a little bit heavier. And so with the rhyming data, we look at pictures and we start with that picture ID portion as well. So a lot of our students have never seen things like a camel before. And that's stuff that you don't really think of as an adult that your students have never seen. So we start by looking at those pictures, identifying those things in the classroom, and then trying to connect, once you have the item, connecting that to words that rhyme or nonsense words, especially with words like the students' names. So like Miss Brown, Miss Clown, certain things that make the kids just laugh that they think is just silly, and so that they can understand that the middle and ending sounds rhyme.
What is that? Rainbow. It's a rainbow. What does this say?
At an instructional differentiation in my classroom for strategies that I use, I change them up after we are done testing for winter and fall, and I group students based off of their scores and how well they academically achieve their goal, their personal goals that we set for them. We use myIDGIs, but I also use letter sounds for progress monitoring, so that way my students, they make more progress from the fall of IDGIs to the winter, so I'm constantly changing our groups based on the letter sounds or letter identification that those students need. And we constantly change out our routine for activities and the type of groups that are working together, so they see other children, they get exposed to students who are ML learners, which are multilingual learners, and students who come from an English background.
Your turn. Hot.
Every year we always see a huge growth from our students from the time that they enter CD to when they leave. Even just from fall to winter, our growth, when we look at the data, like those color-coded, graphs are amazing with how much progress the kids make. And I think it's really just using that data of the IDGIs to kind of build and see where those foundational skills are, and then be able to build on them and help the kids develop even stronger.